Welcome to the Transformation Institute's podcast for change. Here is our host, Omari, Jahi, Aton.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to the Transformation Institute podcast for change. I'm your host, Omari Jahi, along with my co-host, Miss Brenda Robinson, Mr. Will Birch, and Miss Vanessa Rogers. Miss Kim.
All right, Vanessa and Will.
She's under the weather today, so she won't be able to be with us, but she might pull up in the chat. You know how Kim is, so you never know. So our topic for today is going to be child support. Should we pay to play? Well, I just made up that part. I just threw that in for flavor, you know that shit. Sometimes you have to pay to play, you know what I'm saying?
No.
But, no.
Oh, that's a requirement nowadays. You gotta have X amount of money in the bank. You know what I'm saying?
Especially with Kim.
It's a real requirement nowadays. Yeah.
Don't talk about Kim. Kim's not here. Don't talk about Kim.
She should be here. That ain't my fault. She ain't here.
Right.
It probably is. It probably is.
Oh, there she is. Hey, Kim.
I told y'all.
I told you she was gonna be ready.
She didn't waste no time.
First one, ain't she?
Yeah, That's good job, boy.
Wait, she beat Yolanda?
Yolanda didn't say nothing.
I said she beat Yolanda?
Yeah. We know you sick, Kim. You were sick before you were sick.
Don't do Kim like that.
No loyalty to your people.
What?
To your
I
fellow
love Kim. Kim, that's my girl.
I'm not gonna tell you what they said earlier, Brenda.
Don't tell me.
What? I ain't
No.
said nothing.
Tell me later.
Anyway, child support. You know, I don't know nothing about it because I never paid child support. I don't know nothing about it. I don't know what you're supposed to do, what you can't do. All I know is Negroes be paying it. They be paying it up the wazoo. You know, my son is 24 now. I'm straight. I'm straight. I ain't gotta have no problems.
You just slid in there under 25, huh?
You know what I'm saying? Yes. So what's up with this child support? There's a Instagram link that Will sent us in our chat. Did y'all get a chance to check that out?
Yes.
What do y'all think about it?
I don't know. You know me, I always have to check something out.
As far as the legitimacy of what she was saying?
Right to me. It didn't sound right.
It didn't sound right because she was saying that it's unconstitutional.
You know,
I didn't understand what. Yeah, I didn't understand it. I
when they tell you, hey, go to court and try this, you shouldn't go to court and try this.
That's true.
Makes stuff worse.
Now that's true. Because, you know, I got some friends that are Moors, and they don't believe that the courts have a right to try them, you know, because what they call it? They're a sovereign nation, or something like that.
Yeah, originally.
And a friend of mine, the police came and got him and took him to court, and they brought when they took him back in lockup. They brought his fez out.
They brought his who?
His fez. You know, they were the Moors. They wear fezes.
Oh, okay.
They brought his fez out. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, your little sovereign stuff didn't work, did it?
You know, I saw something once where he got before the judge and he was like, I declare this and da-da-da-da. And the judge was like, stop it, and just went off and was like, don't you do this in my court. So I was thinking like that when I was listening to that lady.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I
you guys against what she was saying because you feel like that no one should be giving these men tips on how to combat the
Oh no,
See,
not at all.
see-
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you better do your homework
No,
before
absolutely.
you take these people's advice and go in court trying stuff, because all judges don't be for that.
Right. And Will, can you kind of explain for those who are listening that don't know, didn't see this? Can you explain the video that you sent? What was the gist of it? Because really, I kind of read it on the fly, been kind of busy, and I really didn't get what she was saying. So can you kind of explain that,
Could you
please?
share it? Could you share it with the audience?
I can show it. Y'all want me to show it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's
hold
not
on.
too long, right? It's not too long, right?
No,
Yeah.
sure.
All right. Hold on. Here we go.
And we'll still explain it a little.
Issued by a judge is a violation of law. You heard me right. Here's a statement that you can write and send it to the child support agency to challenge the child support debt. You ready? Here it is. It is my belief and information that the child support order and demand for payment is a rush to judgment into a default judgment, and both are a violation of my constitutionally protected rights. Please validate this claim signed by a man or woman under penalty of perjury. Okay? Sign it, seal it, and let it fly. And by law, they have to respond. And there you have it. So you have.
All right.
So she was talking to the men.
So she was giving she has a channel where she gives advice to men on how to navigate the child support system and little loopholes that men are not frequently aware of readily coming into the child support system, if you will. Now I agree with Vanessa that you can't believe everything that you hear. But I think it's something that we should look into, right? Because there's nobody else out here giving us tidbits and tips about how. A lot of times we go into this situation in these courts blindly, and we're so afraid we just take whatever they tell us that we need to take, and we don't know that we have recourse against the stuff.
Have y'all seen the video lately where the man? I think I saw this yesterday. Where the man was going to court to challenge. He gave himself in. They were looking for him for back child support, and he went to the court and gave himself in. But they already know or proved that the baby is not his. But I guess years ago when she had the baby, she put his name down, and so he was considered the father. And he never paid anything for years, and he owes so much money. And they were looking for him, and he went to court thinking he was going to go to jail that day, but he found an attorney that kind of helped him not go to jail that day. But it's still like they're still saying he's that baby's daddy, and the lady even said he's not the baby's daddy now. That she put his name on there when she had the baby. But it seems like the system doesn't care what the lady said. Now that's an injustice to me. I don't think any man who is not the father should pay child support for a kid that's not his. I think that's real bad. Even if he dated the mom and she was dating him when she put his name, I think that's just terrible, that happens to a man. I don't think that should happen to anyone.
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, why didn't they lock her butt up?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? For lying.
Right. That was asked too. That question was asked too.
Is that falsification of documents or falsifying documents or something to that effect?
I don't know if she act like she didn't know at the time if he was the dad or something. Because I mean, why would she even choose him they must have had something going. I don't know. But yeah, I think that was a question in that conversation about her probably going to jail. Yeah.
Well, she said that she put his name down because she had to put some name.
She sure said that. She said that.
The fact that
she didn't have to put her name though. That's not true.
Well, she said that's why. The fact that they had DNA saying this is not this man's child, he did not know that child, know that woman. It's crazy. And that was in, I think, Michigan. But it's amazing what sometimes they'll just be trying to do to you as a person coming in their courtroom, sometimes not paying attention to everything, or sometimes they just want to close a case, maybe kind of like, you know, sometimes with the police. And in that situation is terrible. But the bad part is, instead of going with the evidence and this is what we know is true, let's just close this case and throw it out and, you know, clear this man's name. They weren't going to do that. But
no, they didn't look like it.
Because he came in there with the lawyer and the newscast. That's what made them say, okay, we're not
right,
going
because he was coming that day to go to jail. Yeah, he was coming to turn himself in to go to jail. So yeah, because his attorney came with them and kind of got him out of that, but they still did not throw the case out.
They didn't dismiss it. He still has to come back.
And they're probably
praying that he comes back without a lawyer or the newscast. But even if he does, I feel like this. Now it's out there. Just go ahead and release that man. Yeah. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah. Did you guys see Teddy Theodore said child support is a fraud? I mean, I don't know what he means by that.
It's a hustle.
It's a hustle. That's what I'm about to say.
It's a hustle.
So you all expand on that. I want
to know, because I don't know what that means. What that means?
I have a question for men.
One of the things that Ty and I was talking about before we got started was what prompted this conversation on my end was the fact that when we had our conversation last week, there was so much emphasis on how much money the man was making in his career throughout X amount of lifetime. And it kind of triggered me because, like, I don't understand how much money I make in my career contributes to how much money I need to pay for a child. I think that it should be a basis of across the board based on, you know, earning potential at the time of being taken to court, not future earning potential. Because they ain't got nothing to do with nothing, right?
Come on.
I could be a line worker right now when I got you pregnant, and I might just, you know, somebody might tap me and make me a president's son. That don't happen, right? Because
if you really think about it, how many, how can I say it, middle class to lower class families have children? The mother and father, they stay together, and they're not paying $5,000 a month for that child to take care of that child. That's not happening, you know. So it's like it's a hustle because it's based on protecting. One is supposed to be for protecting women and their children, because men aren't holding up to their responsibility or whatever. But now nobody's looking at the situation, whereas women can be causing the split in the relationship because of how she treats the man or how she's not doing or whatever. It ain't always the man. You see, but the man goes about his business, and a couple of months later he get a letter in the mail saying that he got to come to child support court. You see what I'm saying? But the fact that they're not together is because the woman don't want him in the house no more because she might got her eyes on somebody else. And now all of a sudden, she's forcing him to pay for a child that he would, if she hadn't kicked him out the house, they would have been happy together. He would have been doing his part. You see what I'm saying? So now who's addressing that?
So what you said is, if the lady makes the man leave, then the man ain't got no more responsibility to take care of his kid. If the lady is the reason that the man goes, then the kid gets to get kicked in the head because the man gone. Come on, man.
That
really?
Ain't what I said. That is not what I said.
You said, what if the lady was the cause of the split?
Yes. Now, what causes that? Let's say she caused the split because she was having a extramarital affair with his best friend.
Whatever reason the split was, okay.
Okay, and so now the man, he still want to see his child, but she don't want to let him see his child simply because she has that right in this world.
No, she doesn't. That's not true. She doesn't have that right. If he takes her to court, he can see his child. If he takes her to court, if she takes him to court for child support, he don't have to take her to court. They're going to go, he's going to go in, and then they're going to give him visiting rights. That's how that works. I know. I'm a child support person, so I know. And let me tell you, I'm not gonna fight and argue about man versus woman stuff. But y'all know that I already believe that first of all, we have consequences to nonchalantness about these kids. We had kids together. Now we ain't together. Now I don't give a damn about the kid. I mean, no. and let me tell you this: some women pay child support. Did you know that some women pay child support?
Well, it just started. It just started that. Yeah, real heavy.
No, they did not just start. No, they did not.
That's true. That is true.
No, they did not.
But that's not what I'm saying, Brenda. You missing it.
No, when you said you messed me up when you said when they split and it cost the woman made the split. Okay, I'm sorry. That's all I was stuck right there.
You read it wrong.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What I'm saying here is that if a woman has the power when it comes to children. She has the power. The court even gives her the power because the woman automatically, unless she's just a dope head, crackhead type of woman, she's automatically gonna have the rights to that child. And the man got to go to court to either fight for his rights or this and that and another, if he even knows how to do that, which most men don't.
Yeah, most men do. They just don't want to go.
Right. Why do you think they don't? So most men are unintelligent enough to know that? Why do you think they don't?
Why would a man grow? I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm sorry, Ty, go ahead.
It has nothing to do with being unintelligent. It has to do with not wanting to deal with the court system.
Oh, okay.
But you're already in the court system, so go ahead and deal and see your children.
No, you're missing what I'm saying. It's I don't know how to explain it, but it's like whenever we go to the court system, we get the bad end of the stick. We don't never come out on top. You all do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm gonna tell you,
if I got enough money, if I'm Kanye West, I come out on top.
And you have a trifling baby mama, and you are trying to get your children and child support. Not fighting child support and saying she's a bad mama, but when you're saying, hey, she's a bad mama, I want custody of my children, can you help me? Then you get their attention because they're seeing that you are wanting to be in that child's life and not just wanting to get away from child support. And there are women who have been made to pay child support, and it's nothing new. It's nothing new.
Carol says she gets the rights because she brings the child into the world.
That's an automatic kind of, yeah.
Well, wait a minute, who planted the seed? That's like saying
she had artificial insemination.
No, she didn't. You mean the person that, like, I'm a gardener. I went out and planted an apple tree in the earth, but the earth has more what's the word? Has more rights to that apple tree than the person that planted the seed?
Well, if that's your tree, then you better fight for your tree.
I shouldn't have to fight for my tree. It's already mine when I planted the seeds.
Okay, so with that said, and it's yours and it's hers at the same time, when y'all break up, what you suggest happens?
I suggest we shouldn't break up.
But sometimes that's inevitable.
It's only inevitable when you rush into stuff like this.
That's not necessarily so. Sometimes it takes people years to break up.
I understand that.
But what happens though? What you expect to happen if y'all break up? What you do? I mean, some people do amicably take care of their children together. Some people can do that. That does happen. But y'all, we all know. Let's be realistic. First of all, I think we all kind of know that a lot of men don't try to fight for their children, or don't try. They don't want to pay anything, but they want to be in the kids' life. I mean, that's kind of seen around the world. That's kind of seen.
Let me tell you why that is. Let me tell you why that is. That's because a lot of women, not all, a lot of women use children as a battling tool against men. They use them. And this is why men don't want to be using their kids. He hates the fact that he got to fight his baby mama to see his kid, and he got to pay money to see his kid, which is his apple seed that he planted. You see, it's his.
He gave it to you for free. He didn't charge you for it.
You know what? I get so sick of people having these conversations about child support and all of this, because at the end of the day, we had this child together. If you are the father, let's say I'm the bad mom, and you take care of this child, I think you would look at things differently if I'm made to pay 20% of my income to you, and you're like, well, damn, I'm still covering all of this, and they're not even looking at this, and this, because at the end of the day, no matter what you're paying, it's still a lot going on in that household that mother or the father, whoever has the custody, is doing than the person that's not in the home. And if I'm the parent that has custody, and I'm the parent that's covering food, shelter, clothing,
insurance,
extracurricular activities. Bam just mentioned something about health insurance. If I'm covering all of that, and you're just paying X amount of dollars at the end of the month, if we break down what I pay versus what you give, it's not going to equal up. But I think if men were the ones having all of these prices on them every month, and the mother was just sitting back like, here, take this little stanky money. This your 20%. Make it happen. Then you would understand a little differently why some of these mothers go out their way to get every penny that they think they deserve, because you can't put a price on raising a child. You just can't.
Let me ask this question. Now follow me on this. Before the court system started taking people to court, because they do take women to court too for child support as well as men, before they started doing that, how were people dealing with that same situation? Because the situation was happening before the court started enforcing what is called child support. What were we doing then that we can't do now?
I think probably we were being more responsible.
Yes.
And I'm not saying the women, I'm saying the woman and the man was being more responsible. No one had to make anyone take care of their seeds. You were either going to do it or you weren't going to do it, but people looked at you differently when you did not take care of your children.
Because that always happened. That's always been. When there wasn't a court system, that I don't know when there wasn't a court system. Because, I mean, when I got old enough to have children, there was a court system. So I don't know when there wasn't. But I do know that even in homes, in families that I knew, people in my neighborhood, when the daddy left or the mom, they broke up or whatever, it was a mother. It was a mother struggling with her kids. The dad would come over to the house sometimes, get them a little money sometimes. But that struggle has been real for a long time. And we do have to watch that. If you were that mother, I went for child support when my children they weren't close to 18. They weren't even teenagers. And so my kid's father fought the child support. He was away at college. When he came home, when he was at college, I didn't even bother him. When he came home and got a job in what he got a degree in, then yes, I needed child support. But I had needed it all along, but I didn't go for it. But when I went for it, he turned the table on me. When you put that pay to play thing on there, long as we were playing, it was good. Mm-hmm. But when it was time to pay, no, then everything changed where he accepted the kid at first. When I took him to child support, he denied the kid so we could stay in court a long time. So, you know, I mean, so I'm not biased. I look at the man's side too. You know, I don't know a man that paid child support for a kid that wasn't his, but I wouldn't want men to have to do that. And I would not fight a man to get every dime he got, and I would not be excited about him struggling while he's paying me and I'm taking care of kids. But when you're a mother taking care of kids, and especially I had a son who was when he was a teenager, he wore a size 14 shoe. You know what I'm saying? And he was an expensive kid, and I was struggling, and his dad was saying, but that ain't mine, after saying it was. So, you know, you got to look at it all. I never had enough child support. To me, I never had enough. I just worked and took care of my children. But, you know.
I think the best thing, one of the best things that Vanessa said was about how you break down the responsibility, right? By comparing who's paying what. I think that needs to be something that needs to be, when we talked about reforming child support, I think that's one of the things that should be reformed. Because I just believe everybody should be doing their part, right? I hear Brenda's what she's saying about, you know, the mother's carrying X amount of weight and left carrying the load after the father done planted the seed and went out and started planting other seeds. I get it, right? But I also see the other part too, where there's child support orders being thrown around, and the person that's receiving the child support order is paying out their head, and the other person is living off of this man's struggle or this woman's struggle to pay something, when we don't even know if this woman or man is really contributing their part to this child's lifestyle.
And I agree with that, because see, it's like this. Let's say I make $1,000 every 2 weeks. I got to pay rent. You know, I need to pay for a car if I got a car or whatever, lights, gas, all the necessities of life, clothing. I got to pay all of that out of $2,000 a month. Now, I go to child support court, and they determine that I should pay $1,000 a month to this woman for my child, to take care of my child. When in all actuality, what that's going to do is put me in a situation where I got to make a decision between food, job, because or a car note, because if I can't pay my car note, that means I can't go to work. So that means I'm gonna lose my job. You see what I'm saying? I got to make all these decisions, but nobody's looking at the fact that this is destroying people.
Yep.
This whole system. We were talking about reform. It's not understand this, Brenda. I understand what you're saying. There's a lot of no good niggas out here that ain't doing what they're supposed to do. I'm not talking about them. I'm saying the system hits all men the same, and women. I have to include women because they go to child support too. It's putting us in a position where if we are taken to child support court, that what comes out of that is I'm going to be poor and outdoors at some point. It's going to break me down to the point where I'm not going to even be able to take care of me. But the courts don't give a damn about that, long as I'm taking care of that child, because then if I don't take care of the child, guess what? The state gets free labor because I'm going to jail.
Absolutely.
Y'all see how all these systems, they match up with each other. They who was that? Kim said something about the public aid system enforces child support. Public aid, that's another system that's enforcing child support. And then you got the judicial system, and then you got the where if you don't pay your child support because you can't, because it was unfairly put on me, $1,000 is too much for me to pay in child support for one child. First of all, you see what I'm saying? And so how is all of that? Why aren't we looking at the fact that it's not? See, we only look at the bad guys, the people that are effing up all of this. They ain't trying to take care of their responsibilities. And we're not looking at the fact that there are men out here that have a problem with the woman because she's using that child to kind of browbeat him, to beat him into submission in some way or another. And so he's at war with her, and she goes to court and uses the court system to go to war with him, and then she becomes the victor because the court systems are in her favor.
Well,
nobody's looking at this.
Well, what about this? Sometimes we have to take the emotion out of things. Isn't that what you always say to the women? Take the emotion out. Yep. If I'm using emotions against you regarding your child, then you take the emotion out and do what you need to do. And then it's me fighting a brick wall. And now after a while of hitting the brick wall, I'm not going to keep doing that to you. But if we don't put these people in our business, they can't have a say about what we do.
Yes. And but that's the problem.
We don't have to put them in our business if we can act like two adults and take care of the life that we've made.
Yes.
You're right. They've been using
that's what I'm saying.
They've been using
leave the courts out of it. But you can't leave the court. I'm sorry, go ahead, Will.
No, I was just saying they've been using child support as a weapon since I've been coming to the world. I know, I've seen aunties and cousins say, "Oh, he gonna pay. He gonna do this. Oh, he with this woman and he paying her bills. Oh, he gonna pay this." The mentality is all messed up about this whole thing. It's been child support has been used as a national guard for women.
Yes.
I'm gonna say this again. I'm gonna say this because I'm a woman. Yes, I took them to child support court. And guess what? First of all, they get a percentage of what you make. The court don't know me. The court don't know you. Men think that the judge is against him when they start taking him for child support. But first of all, I took for child support when I got out on my own and I had no help. I had no help from the dad at all. So I have someone in my life, a couple of people that told me I wouldn't take my kid's father to court because if he don't want to have nothing to do with him, I wouldn't make him. Let me tell you what we need to do in this world today. You do what you do and I do what I do. If I'm struggling with some kids and his dad is somewhere and I know he's somewhere, and let me tell you, every woman ain't somewhere saying, "Oh, I'm taking this nigga and he got this much money." Everybody ain't doing that. Some people doing it because they're struggling their asses off and the dad is not doing anything. So we know that there's always a good and a bad side. So at the system, people keep on saying what the system is. No, that's your mentality and that's what you think. And if you think that and you feel that, you go with it. But I'm over here. I was struggling and I was taking care of my kids and their dad was in college and I was leaving him alone and I was struggling my ass off and I didn't have a car. And I remember going to the laundromat with my kids following behind me. When I look back on it, I looked like the mama duck and kids following behind me to the laundromat while I saw their dad roll past in a car. You know what I'm saying? So, and I still didn't. And when I took my kid father back to court when my daughter was starting to get in high school where fees need to be paid. He worked for the who is the court system? The Cook County. Cook County is the court people, right? Her dad worked for Cook County, and guess what? When I went, he had gotten up in the ranks in his job, working for Cook County. When I went to take him back to court, Cook County supported him, said that they tried to pretend he made the same amount of money that he had made 10 years before. So everybody getting it from every side. And you're right about we should try to get it together before it gets to that point. We should try when we break it up. But y'all know that don't always happen. Somebody's pissed off. Some women do some stuff bad, but it's women out here. So what I'm saying to you guys is when you say the system was made to do this and that, no, that's not necessarily true. And we have to own our own stuff. We know that there's some people, there are some women who say, I'm taking this nigga and I'm getting all his money. But there are some women who say, God damn, I'm struggling and I need some help. And so it's all kinds. If we stop and just know that it's all kinds, we can have this. We know it's another side. We can have these conversations, but let's be realistic. It's all kinds. It's good and it's bad. And the system, that court system, it ain't always personal. Those judges don't know us. They don't give a damn about us either.
Brenda, they do know us.
Okay. All right.
Now let me show you what I mean.
Okay.
When you walk your butt in there and I'm Brenda Robinson, or I'm Tashana this, or Tamika that, or I'm Justin this, you know, instead of George, John, Frank, Bob, they know who we are. And when you walk in there, you know, and well, now they got it on cameras now. You ain't even got to go. They have you on Zoom. You see what I'm saying? But I'm saying this, what I'm saying is that the whole system is set up for our demise. I'm speaking of Black people now. Now, I know I can be considered, and everybody can call me a conspiracy theorist, Black radicalist, whatever you want to call it. I'm saying I've been on this planet for over 50 years, and I've been watching this stuff for over 50 years. And I'm saying what I'm seeing is that when white people go to custody court or whatever, those type of things, you don't see the same kind of stuff going on in court for them unless they are trailer trash. If they trailer trash white people, they get treated just like we do. Or if they're Hispanic, they get treated just like we do. But there is a difference. There is a difference between you, me, and the people that, well, I use the ethnic group that sits at the top of the hill. And we all know who they are. So I'm saying if we don't want to accept the fact that these systems have been put in place to keep us in a particular situation, poor, broke, hungry, miseducated, and out of doors. And then some might say, well, you know, everybody ain't miseducated, everybody ain't broke. Yes, they're not. Those that aren't are those that decided to go along and follow the system, get an education. And, you know, I feel like I'm on my soapbox, so I'm gonna get off. I swear I am. But your education leads to your employment, and your employment leads to your housing, and your housing leads to your status in life. How many young Black men dropping out of school? Young Black women ain't dropping out of school. Just keep those things in mind. I'm saying that these systems are in place for a reason. It ain't just for education. It ain't just for the judicial system. They're there to keep us in line. And
hey, you know what? They can't keep us in line. They can't keep us in line. If that young Black man really wants something better, they cannot keep us. Like you said, there are some men who go to school, get their education, get their status. There are some, they do it intentionally. Will is one of them. He does it. So don't tell me that every Black man, no. I mean, I know you didn't say every Black man, but what those guys that steady having babies everywhere, and the guys that get broke on child support because they do just take a percentage of your money, those that's getting broke, they got babies here and they got babies there, and they want to drive their car and they want to live their life with the next baby mama, but they got kids that need to pay child. That's a soapbox. I'm on that one because there are young Black men who's taking care of their kids. There are some in their 20s who are taking care of kids that they ain't with the mama. It is, but you got to be intentional about what you want. And I saw this said something about if you're struggling taking care of your kids, then give it to the father. You can say that if you want to, but good mamas ain't giving their kids away. Good mamas gonna raise their kids, because if the daddy left and don't want to take care of his kid, what the hell am I giving him the kid for? He already don't want to take care of him. Anyway, so he'll want to take care of him better if he's living with him. Then he feels better about it. Okay, come on, that's a joke.
A lot of times, though, man, it's not that they don't want to take care of the kid.
I mean, but I'm telling y'all know that it's some men don't want to take care of their kids. Why y'all acting like that ain't real?
The big hang up, the confusion is that a lot of times men look at it like we paying a lot of money to provide for the woman.
You know they pay a percentage of their money. Y'all keep saying like the judge just give them an amount.
What percentage is it, Brenda?
20%
of your income.
And if they have another kid, I think it goes up, what, 5% more, Kim? I think it goes up if they have like 3 kids by them. But 20% of their income. And that's been 20% for so long.
Well, you talk about
so long, so many years.
You talk about 20% plus tax deductions, plus.
What you
benefits.
mean?
I'm just saying all this stuff come out they check. So that's still 20%. You only got 80% of your check that you worked 80 hours or 40 hours a week for.
If you were at home, how much percentage would you be helping with your kid?
It wouldn't be that.
If you were at home,
Or
more.
No.
Yo, come on, y'all. Now, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna quit because I'm gonna quit.
Wait,
I'm gonna
wait.
talk. I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen.
I'm gonna use you. I'm gonna use you as an example.
You can't use me, man. You don't know my story.
You've been telling it all day. How come I don't
No,
know
I
it?
haven't. See, there you go. We ain't fighting. Let's not fight. You my co-host. Oh yeah, you just said I've been telling it all day.
You was.
That's
You
a
was
fight.
talking
Yeah, you
about
starting to
how you
fight,
had
man.
to walk with the
You
ducks
starting to
and all
fight,
that.
man. I'm gonna drink to that. I'm gonna drink to that.
Come on, Brenda. Stop being emotional, Brenda. Come on.
I'm not, and I can be emotional. I wish that we would learn on this podcast. I can be who I want to be. Let me be emotional. If you're not emotional, don't you get emotional. I'm gonna be who I want to be. Thank you. I love you, man. I love you, man.
You too. Be you.
Dominique said something that made sense. She said men have an equal opportunity to obtain a lawyer.
Yes, they do. But what I'm saying is that when you have deadbeat dudes, most of them are deadbeat dudes. And because they're deadbeat, they are the ones that get the publicity. That's the one you hear about. You hear most of the women that have went babies by deadbeat guys is the one you'll hear from the majority of the time. That's all you hear. You know, we would hear from Brenda. We wouldn't hear from Vanessa if she had a guy that they was broke up, but they decided that, okay, you making this money, you got to pay your rent. Give me this much a month, you know, and as your income increases, we're gonna talk and we're gonna increase and we're gonna make sure this baby gets taken care of. You take her to school, I pick her up from school. Working together for the betterment of the child. If that's Vanessa's story, you don't hear that. We only hear your story, Brenda.
No, that's not true. That's not true. That's not true, man.
Okay.
That's not true. We know stories like that, man. We know a man that takes care of his kids and the girl and they cool. But let me tell you, they still got some little stuff too, man. It ain't always all that still some little stuff. Sometimes you hear that some more stuff from them too. So and nobody hears my story unless like we doing this right here. Come on now.
That's what I said, Brenda. You told us your story. That's all I said.
I think sometimes we always jump to conclusions about situations. Just like you said, we always hear about the deadbeat fathers and everything. I think most of the time when men want to deal with child support issues, they start thinking about the woman who's only after the payments for child support. You don't think about the reality of what it really takes to raise a child.
I can agree with that. Nobody, see, when my son was born, I had no idea what it was going to take to raise him. I never done it before. None of us had. When we had our children, none of us knew what it was going to take. You know, our parents would tell us stuff, but we don't listen to them. We want to learn it for ourselves, you see? And so here we are. I've learned that, like Johnny Taylor says, it's cheaper to keep. That's what I learned. And see, and to do that, you have to learn. See, this is dealing with relationships. You have to understand that whatever problem I got with her, she got the same problems. Well, not the same, but she got her own problems with me. But if I get into this attitude that she's this and she that, and she getting on my nerves, you know, or she has that attitude, he ain't this, all he want to do is go to work. He don't never take me out. He don't never do this. This causing all these problems between us. This is what brings us into divorce court, family court, child support court, all these different courts where somebody else is benefiting and not really us. You get your little check and everything. But I'm telling you, at some point, if that guy didn't have a good education and he he doesn't have a good job, because nowadays you can't get a good job making some nice money unless you got a degree. My wife just told me that the other day. You know, to be a manager or a supervisor, well, not even supervisor, but a manager, you got to have some kind of a BA or something. But if you didn't go to school, you can't make that kind of money. So that means when child support comes around along with life, so at some point that man gonna fall out, meaning he ain't gonna be able to keep up. And then the court system's gonna step in again and put a warrant out for his arrest. And now the whole thing goes full circle.
Okay,
you know,
same scenario. If the mother had that same predicament,
exactly,
she's going
it's
to
the same
fall
thing.
off.
But guess
when it
what?
comes to financials, but guess what? She
It's
still
us.
got to make stuff work for her child, just like
Honestly.
he should still make stuff work for the child. There's no reason why you think that you should only pay $5, let's say $5, and then go out every time I look up, you buying stuff that's $20. A lot of men are walking around here, designer this, designer that, high price this, high price that, and crying about what you want to give your child. Like, why can't you be the man every time you go buy yourself some shoes, go buy your damn kids some shoes? Every time you go out to eat, why don't you think about, I wonder if my child is eating?
Well, how about the other side though, Vanessa? Because I hear what you're saying, but the other side is too, when I do get that money to buy my kids the shoes and stuff like that, I want my kid to get shoes, not to get no shoes that's
Buy the shoes. She said buy the shoes. She didn't say give the money to the mother. She said buy the shoes. You want the shoes? Buy the shoes.
Okay, if I bought the shoes, how about if I bought the shoes and you sharing the shoes I bought my kid with another kid? That's still a problem.
Boy, that's some stuff that men kind of made up to talk bad about women. That a lot of women ain't doing that with their kids, man. If you really talk to someone, I wish there was some women on this line that would talk about that, because men have been saying that about women forever, that they're messing up the money I give them. That's a myth, man. That's a myth. I'm not saying that it don't ever happen. I'm not saying it don't ever happen. But come on, y'all. That's what, just like Ty said, that we come in with my story and you don't hear Vanessa's story. Guess what? That story Will just said, that's what we hear all the time about what women do. Even when we know that there are women ain't doing it. That's the story we hear. That's the story we hear from men. Even good men. Men who work like Will, got good money, say that same story all the time. That's the story that people made up. I bet you don't know a lot of people doing that. I bet you don't.
That I pay that money, and I pay my money on time all the time, and I can't afford to take a vacation, but I see my baby mama in Vegas and Mexico, Puerto Rico every year, but I'm the one that's working every year, every month, delivering a check, and she's able to take a vacation. Where's the fairness on that situation?
That's the same scenario I just gave you with the man.
No, I'm not. Okay, I'm not even.
You out there living your best life and not living your best life with your child, because she's on vacation probably with your child.
With my money.
No, but
you act like your money really pays for her vacation. Really?
Vacation,
really?
Take your child?
Really? She ain't got no money of her own, do she?
Wait a minute.
Again, she wouldn't be taking me to court. If she had money,
I'm sorry. I keep talking. I'm sorry. I quit. She's taking vacation with his money. He's paying so much money. She can go out of town. He's paying so much money. She ain't got none.
I don't think it has to do with him paying so much money. It's just like this. Now, I used to say this to my wife, right? I know she don't like me talking about her, but I got to use her as an example on this one. When I met her, she was paying light bill, she was paying gas bill, she was paying rent. She had a cell phone bill. She had all those things when I met her. When we got together, it was up to us to pay those things now together. That's how it's supposed to go, right? Now, she makes 3 times as much money as me. So does that mean that I'm still supposed to pay half of the income and she paid half of the income? I'm asking that question. Is that what that means? She's supposed to
I
pay half
have
of the
no
income?
idea.
I would say yes. I think so.
I
And
think
so
you're supposed to pay what you're supposed to pay.
what we agree on that I should pay, which would be fair to me and fair to her. Right?
Are we talking about running the house or are we talking about child support?
No, I'm using
Because it's going to be different. It's going to be
no,
different.
I'm using running the house.
Because if
using
we're
it.
in the house together, we got some things we need to talk about. We need to decide how we're going to do this. Now, if you're going to be this man that says, oh, I want to split things down the middle, or are you going to be the man that says, I'm the man, I'm going to pay for this, you just sit back?
Wait,
What
did
man
y'all-
are we talking about? Because
did
now
y'all
the
mi- wait a minute, wait a
scenario
minute.
is going to change.
Wait a minute,
At
wait a
the
minute.
end of the day, when we had kids, the kids got to eat, the kids
Wait
need
a minute.
clothes, and we have to do that together.
Can I finish what I was saying? Check this
Go
out.
ahead.
Y'all must have missed the part where I said she makes 3 times the
Oh
amount
no,
of
we didn't
money.
hear. We heard that.
Okay. So you heard that. So you all feel that it's fair that if our monthly bills, now I'm using this as an example dealing with child support. If our monthly bills taking care of our household, which includes our child, our children or whatever, if that amount is $2,500, you make $5,000 every 2 weeks, and I make $2,000 a month. So you're saying that it's fair that I take $1,500 of my $2,000.
No, 1,000. Half of it. Half.
Let me finish.
Who you hollering at?
You, because I can't talk without talking over you. I can't. You won't let me talk.
Yeah, whatever,
I
man.
keep paying-
Take your
Let me
emotions
keep
out of this.
talking.
Take your emotions out of this, man.
It ain't got nothing to do with emotions.
Oh, it
ain't got nothing to
sound
do
like
with
it.
emotions. It's dealing with volume, which you have a lot of.
Yeah, like you don't.
Okay, so now let me finish talking. I'm supposed to pay $15,000.
No. 1,000.
And she pays $15,000 and has, what is that, $3,500 left to do what she wants to do with. You're saying that that's fair.
You want me to answer again?
Anybody,
Okay.
is that fair?
Now, I feel like you missed what I was saying. If we're in a house together and this is what we come to agree together, at the end of the day, you are still in this house. You are still active in this child's life 100%. Even if you aren't giving me physical money, you're going to do some of the other stuff that I would have to do that may not have a monetary amount attached to it. However, you leave that house, now the things that you used to do, I may have to pick up that slack and it may start having a price tag attached to it.
I agree with that, Vanessa, 1,000%. And this is why I was saying that sometimes we got to leave the court system out, because nobody really wins with the court when we take this thing to the court system. It looks like the women win when they get money. It looks like that's a win. You think that's a win,
only
but it's
if you think that if it's the mother who has custody. Say the custodial parent wins.
yes, the custodial parent wins. I agree. Yes, you're right. But what I'm saying is what you're saying, Vanessa, is that we have to be grown men and women, and we have to look at every situation. Now, let's look at the situation based on what was said earlier, that the man is supposed to be a man and say, I'm the man, I'm going to pay all the bills, right? Let's say that man takes that position. That means if he can afford a studio apartment that means him and that woman gonna be in that studio apartment with her $5,000 income a month.
But you do know that usually people as a couple, you want things, you want certain things. So you're going to do what you need to do for those certain things. You need to keep that same.
I'm laughing at the comment. I'm laughing at the comment, yeah. I'm sorry.
Okay, I agree, Carol.
Carol, be quiet, Carol. That's my cousin. No. See, y'all act like that's just as easy. Oh, yeah, just get a better job, make more money. Like that's so easy.
No, but see,
all of us.
You know what? When it comes to child support, we come up with 5,000 reasons why we can't or shouldn't pay this amount of money for these children. But you weren't thinking about those 5,000 reasons when you were making these babies. You aren't thinking about those 5,000 reasons when you're off living your best life and that person, the custodial parent, is struggling.
I agree with that, Vanessa, but that's just one story. You see what I'm saying? We're talking about one part of the story. There are men that are actually deadbeats. I said that earlier. I know this. And women should do what they must do in order to survive and take care of their children. I agree with that 1,000%. I'm speaking of the fact that there are women or men. What did you call them? The ones that have custodial rights that can talk to their significant other and work some things out. But they refuse to do that, whether it's because of the reason of the breakup that got them pissed off. Maybe he was, again, like...
That's what I want you all to stop thinking about. Quit thinking about why we aren't together. Quit thinking about what I'm doing with my money. Quit thinking about what I'm doing with my time. You may see me doing this or taking a vacation. Quit worrying about that because you don't know. I could be robbing Peter to pay Paul for that vacation to take my child on while you're sitting here living the good life.
But Vanessa, you just said the same thing about the dude buying gym shoes. Why are you worried about him buying gym shoes?
Right.
No, that's the philosophy.
What I said was whenever you go buy some gym shoes, buy your kids some gym shoes. Since you're so worried about money. Since you're so worried about giving money to take care of your child.
That's not what you said. That's not what you said, Vanessa.
Okay.
Hey, did you hear Carol? Carol said we need the court. Carol said we need the courts. She right, because just like this right here, how we're battling each other and we ain't got no kids together, but we battling. We need somebody to intervene sometimes, because sometimes the man or the woman, somebody ain't doing right. They got to have somebody intervene. They're not going to let their friends intervene because friends got their own views on everything. They say what they see. People want you to do what they want you to do. We all different, y'all. You got your way of thinking. Will got his. Vanessa got hers and I got mine. At the end of the day, we're going to do what we feel. We're going to feel what the consequences of what we do. If everything has a consequence, and this is my closing thought, because I'm going to shut up after this. Everything has a consequence. A man could be over there thinking that the lady is taking vacation on his money if he wants to, but he doesn't know what that lady is doing, and he's doing what he wants to do. Everything has a consequence. When men don't take care of their children have a whole lot of other things going on in their lives. Women who don't take care of their children, women who use men for money, they have some other stuff. We get it back. At the end of the day, do what's right, not what you just feel. Take your emotions out of it and do what's right. That's my closing thought.
Amen, Brenda.
I agree with that, Brenda.
Hallelujah.
I agree wholeheartedly.
The children are the most important factors, and we start talking about everything but the children.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that wholeheartedly. But we also have to see what you said. You said something, Brenda, and I think we all think of it sort of on the same thing. that I'm gonna feel how I feel, you're gonna feel how you feel, everybody gonna do what they want to do. See, I think that's the problem. What has to happen, there has to be a standard way of doing things. And
That's
I
why the
keep
court
saying
is
it.
there.
Say again.
That's why the court is there. They have a standard. They made a thing. I mean, two people couldn't make it, so somebody did it for them. That's why it's there. I mean, and it's not always bad. I mean, it could be some bad things, but it's not always bad. But that wasn't came up with. We keep saying take the courts out because they do stuff, but some people can't do nothing without that. They
But
don't. They can't get it together.
They made a baby without the courts.
Okay, that's easy.
Every
Okay,
money
you even know that ain't the same thing while you talking. You even know it, but you can have that. You right. You right. The court should have been in us having sex. The court should have been a part of that. You right, Will. You right. You right.
Brenda, I was doing my closing thought. You kind of.
So sorry. You didn't say nothing to Will, though. He started.
No, he didn't start it. You did.
He did. Okay, I quit. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
So you're saying Will cut me off when I was talking?
Okay. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. Will don't do nothing. You and Will don't do nothing. You are the men on this panel, man. Y'all good, man. Come on. Go with your closing thought. Good, man.
And that's your brainwashing. You've been brainwashed to think like that. But anyway,
thank you for telling me who I am. I really gonna listen to you. I'm really gonna listen to you. I am.
It don't matter whether you do or not. That's my opinion. Like you said, I'm going to keep it.
It sure don't matter.
Like I was saying, my closing thought is there has to be a standard by which we deal with each other, and I don't think having some European court system interfering into the lives of an ethnic group that they know nothing of other than slavery, that is the answer. I don't believe that to be the answer. We have to be able to adjudicate our own situations, which means that we have to grow up, stop being little boys and little girls, and be grown men and women and deal with these situations unemotionally. It's going to be difficult because we are emotional beings. I understand that. But we have to fight. We have to put up a fight to deal with one another for the good of the children. My son, my wife and I, we don't have the greatest marriage on the planet. And I hope she don't mind me saying it because it's the truth. But what we do have that is great is that we do not hold grudges against each other for the shortcomings that we have, which means we forgive each other. Like last week, she forgave me for saying the things that I said online. She forgave me. But there are women that would hold that to this day and hold it against me, and then months later we'll be divorced. You see what I'm saying? There are things that she can say or do that would cause me to say, oh, I'm done with this. You know, I'm tired of this. But when you are forgiving to one another, understanding that we all have shortcomings, then we can deal with one another based on the fact that I understand that you did wrong by me. You did this wrong, this, that, another. For the child's sake, let's do right. That's my closing thought.
Well, I just want to make a suggestion that so everybody think that the courts are so important in these relationships, then we should probably use the courts as a new contraceptive for safe sex. Instead of going looking for condoms, why don't we just go ahead and sit down and talk about the child support court before we actually engage into exchanging fluids? I mean, because everybody loved the court. We should love the court as much as we love, safe sex.
All right, Vanessa. That was very good, Brenda.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
I'm proud of you.
That was a joke. That Will had a joke. That was a joke, and everybody knows it.
I'm proud of you though, because you held your composure. You held it.
Go ahead, Vanessa, because I got to go.
Well, I think that when you bring children into the world, You have to take all the emotions out of all of this stuff.
Hey,
that,
Kim.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, Vanessa. I'm sorry.
No, honestly, we have to stop worrying about what someone else is doing. We have to get out of, like I said, the emotions of everything, because at the end of the day, we have a child. That child needs to be taken care of. Okay, so you were playing when you said it, but here's the thing. When children are born, maybe we do need to take care of two things: paternity and financials. Maybe we should just take care of them at the time they're born, because otherwise we're going to just be arguing and going back and forth, people in their feelings, doing everything but the right thing. So take care of your business. Do what you need to do for your child.
Amen. And I just want to say this, church used to play a role in all of this. Y'all know that, right?
Yeah.
Church used to play a role in this.
Yep.
I just want to ask the question: what happened to the church?
They teaching safe sex now, and what they teaching now, Brendan? Yeah, sex education or some stuff,
Oh, well. All right, y'all. I thank y'all for listening. Hey.
Should the church have to teach your child safe sex? Shouldn't you be teaching your child that?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, but we can have another talk about that one.
We always got to talk about something.
Well, that's our time, y'all. Thank you, Brenda, Will, Vanessa, everybody that was on, that was watching. Carol, Damo, said.
We had a lot of good comments that
Yolanda,
we touch on.
Side, Carol.
Right.
Yep,
we might need to find a way to start incorporating.
I want to say kudos to Sasa. She say to each his own. No, everybody trying to make you see they are to each his own, Sasa. To each his own.
Thank you all for being on. I think I mentioned everybody. Yep. Teddy
said. Yeah, said, wait till I see you.
Thank you guys. Hey, we out of here. Until next week, next Thursday, 8 o'clock, we're going to do it again. We're going to have another hot topic. Until then, peace. We out.
Thanks for supporting our podcast. We look forward to see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. We also ask that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. The more subscribers we have, the more YouTube will push our podcast to more viewers. But until then, subscribe also for a peaceful mind. Your activity will reflect that peace.